Good morning. My name is Karen Kong, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Welcome to my This or That Thursday. It's a really wintry day outside. We're getting probably 30 to 40 centimeters of snow. We got 20, almost 20 overnight, and it's still going. Everybody's home. We're not going anywhere. And Facebook is not cooperating with me this morning. It does not want me to stream in landscape mode, which is why we're doing this in portrait today. It's going to be a little bit strange. And if I go off the screen, you'll have to tell me because I'm going to have to work with a much smaller working area. A narrower one, so it's going to be really strange. Anyways, if you're joining me for the first time, please say hi, tell me where you're watching from, and join in the conversation. I like it when we chat together and craft together. But just give me a moment. I'm going to get my screen up and running so I can see your comments while we are crafting. And then I'll have to mount my camera, and it'll have to I'll have to adjust it because of course it wasn't set up to stream in portrait mode, so I have to adjust the mount. So fun times. It's gonna be fun. Just give me a second. Okay, so I am up and running on my computer. Good morning, Sandra. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, so let me mount my camera now. Just close your eyes while I move my phone. And we'll try and get this set up quickly. Yeah, so it's really strange having it mounted this way. You can see all my tools that I usually keep hidden at the top of my desk. And now it's all there. Okay, let me zoom in. Yay, Shalee, glad to see you here. Sorry, I'm still adjusting. Okay, I think that looks good. Probably a little bit too zoomed in. Hang on. I'm trying to figure out how much to zoom in or out because then I'll be like cutting off too much. Okay, so let's work with this. We'll work with this. Facebook is just not behaving. I had a workaround for this problem, and now the workaround no longer works. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. We'll see. Hi Tara, thanks for joining in. So today, it was a close call today. We are making the wiper card. I had a couple votes on Instagram and stuff, but I think the wiper card eked out a win. Let me just show you the other fold. And I have other samples for you to see too. I made a couple of other cards. So here's the other one. I feel like I need something else here. I need a sentiment to go on the front. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with how this worked out. The only thing is with this card, Sandra says we should have voted for a portrait card. Okay, so this one is very thick when you fold it. You can see that that is quite thick. And I think that you are going to need extra postage if you send this card in the mail, which is fine. You just have to be aware of that. Okay. The other thing I thought I would do actually for the second card I made using this fun fold is that I didn't put quite so much matting. I took out all the matting underneath the DSP, and that did help make it thinner, but it's still quite thick. So just be aware when you make this fun fold. Probably best for handing it off in person, right? Yeah, the double accordion gatefold would not really fit in the frame. It's like way out. Okay, so let's put that aside. So this is the one we're doing, the wiper card, and it opens like this. You just simply pull it to the side. So when it's closed, it fits into a regular envelope, and you can leave room to write here, which I did, and I also have room on the back, right? So let's get started on this. It's really quite easy. I'm I'm using Pretty Peacock, and I am using the On the Horizon stamp set, which is a retired stamp set, which I had said previously that I think goes really well with the Thoughtful Journey DSP. The Thoughtful Journey DSP reminds me of the On the Horizon DSP that matched this stamp set, and it really does. Okay, so if you are joining for the first time, I do post all the measurements and the products and colors in my video description after I'm done. Good morning, Connie. Thank you for joining us. So don't worry about writing everything down. I will give you that information afterwards. Just watch along. And I was actually toying with the idea of like trying to get my measurements and everything posted before my lives, and then maybe people would want to craft with me. That was just a thought, and you tell me if that sounds like fun or not. Okay, so let's make some room. I'm gonna bring in my paper trimmer and we'll cut everything we need. And tell me if I'm off the screen, of course, because I am looking down and not necessarily at my computer. All right, so the first thing we're going to cut is 2 pieces for the card base. This is Pretty Peacock. It's going to be 7 by 4¼ inches. So I'm going to cut 7 inches off in length first, and then cut the whole thing in half. So I'm going to have to open up my paper trimmer. And we'll measure 7 inches. If you can see that right there. And then I'm going to cut it in half this way at 4¼ So then we have the 2 same size pieces for our card base. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is turn it on the long side, and I'm going to score at 1 and 1 3/4 inches. Okay. So 1 and 1 3/4. Okay, I'm going to take the other piece and do the exact same things. 1 by 1 3/4. Okay, I also need 1 piece, small piece of Pretty Peacock that will be the back part of this pop-up, right? So that piece is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I'm going to cut off 2 1/4 right here. And measure 3 1/4 this way. Okay, so that's my pop-up piece. I'm going to need some white mats for the front and the back. So 5 by 4. Just a second, I'm just going to grab a piece of white. Okay, so 5 inches by 4. And we need 2 of them. Tell me, Sandra, is the snow wet and heavy, or is it like dry and fluffy? I'm just curious how much lifting there's going to be involved when we go to shovel today. The pop-up also has a mat, so that one is let me just check, 2 by 2½. Let me see if I can find a piece of scrap that I can use. Let's see, here's one. This is pretty much a square. Okay, so let's cut 2 1/2 here. Connie, is it snowing where you are? We have a big winter storm going on here right now. 2 by 2½. Okay, Sandra says it is heavy. not wet, but pretty heavy. Well, yes, the amount of snow, I guess, right, is making it heavy. Yeah. Okay, so that's my white. Okay, now I'm going to cut the DSP. So there's DSP on the front. You can optionally put some here on the back as well. That's totally up to you. You don't have to. I think you could get away with not putting anything there, but I had some scrap left over from cutting DSP previously, and it worked out really well. So I used up that scrap to cover this piece here. But this piece in the front is pretty much 6 inches of DSP, which worked out perfectly with this piece. So I had to slice the whole width. I didn't waste any of it, except I had to take off the top and bottom in order to preserve as much of the blooms in my picture. So what I'm going to do first is I cut off a 1/2 inch off of the top here so that I could have my flower reach right to the top and still try and get as much of the flowers down here. So let's do that first. So I'm going to use the measurement on this side instead because it's easier, so my paper is not hanging off. I love how we have measurements on this side of the right side of the cutting groove, because it is sometimes just more convenient to cut on that side. Okay, so I'm going to cut off a 1/2 inch. The section on the front, it should be 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. So it needs to be 3 3/4 this way. So I'm going to cut this way now, 3 3/4. And I do lose some of the flowers, but I did preserve most of it. Okay, so 3 3/4 this way. Okay, so 4 3/4 is what I need for the front part here, and I'm going to measure from here. Okay, so I want this much of my picture for the main picture, main focal part of the card, and then the rest will be on the side. So 4 3/4, and then this piece I need to cut. So if you look at this, this is the a 1/2 inch wide and 3/4 inch. Actually, let me just, this is supposed to be 4, Oh, I made a boo-boo. Yeah, this is real life crafting. So what I did was that I cut this to width here, but I forgot that these pieces are longer. I should have cut those off first, and I forgot. Okay, we'll fix that. We'll find some other scraps to work with. Let me see if I can find something different. So this is reality crafting, you know, Murphy's Law. You think, you know, I thought it out and I had forgotten that I had to cut these 2 strips off first. So if you see, I've got lots of scraps left over here, and I can use those instead, I think. Look, I have, look, oh no, this is the bottom part. That's not gonna work, not for that one. Okay. I thought it looked so pretty with the, You know what, Sandra, you're right. Maybe I should just mat them instead. But then I have to cut, I just have to cut, oh yeah, I don't have matting pieces for that. So maybe I'll do that. You're right. Okay, so, I'm gonna have to cut them thinner. Okay, so that's gonna require a little bit of thought. Let me take care of these pieces first. I'm gonna close the arm on this. Okay, so if I make the matte pieces for these the same size as the original cut pieces, and I'll cut the strips of DSP to fit inside. Okay, so let's take some leftover white. Okay, so I need a 4-inch long piece. This is almost exactly 4 inches. Great idea, Sandra. Thank you. This is what crafting friends are for, right? Help you think through a snafu. Okay, so a 1/2 inch and a 3/4 inch piece of white. So half, and then 3/4. Okay, so then we have to trim down our remaining DSP. Where did I put it? So instead of being a half, I'm going to make it 3/8. Actually, that is going to be super skinny. Just a second. It has to be even less than that if I want to maintain the same matting width, which is going to be really skinny if I do that. I'm wondering if I can get away with a 1/16 of an inch. Let's do 3/8. I'm not sure how it's going to look because it's going to be different, but let's use that instead because it's going to be super skinny otherwise, the image. Okay, so 3/8, and the other one is 5/8. Just trying to do the math in my head under stress. Always a little tricky. Okay. There we go. All right, so those will be matted like that. All right, I think that's all the cutting. Let's move this out of the way. And before I lose those pieces, I'm going to go ahead and glue them down. Thank you for that idea. That was perfect. Okay, let me get out my tweezers so that I don't have to touch all the glue and get it all over me. So let's put some glue on here. I don't like to use too much glue because I don't want to wet the paper, because I find, you know, obviously wet paper will wrinkle, right? So I'm pretty conservative in my use of glue. Okay, so the top and bottom will be 1/8 of an inch. The sides are 1/16 of an inch. Let's just see how that turns out. Okay. And I'm fairly careful to try not to put glue too close to the edge because I don't want it to squish out when I put it down on my mat. Oops. Just trying to get a grip on it without getting glue on me. There we go. That one's like this. Okay. So let's stamp this. I'm going to use the same sentiment as I did on the original card. So, wishing you much happiness, so much happiness, in Pretty Peacock. Shirley says my glue lines and dots are, trust me, they are not perfect. Okay, so because this is a red cling stamp and I can't see, I can't trust necessarily that the sticker is lined up with where the stamped image is on the back. What I like to do is when I mount my stamp, I will make sure, I'll put it here on my grid paper, and I can use the grid paper to line up the stamping surfaces to make sure it looks straight. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll line up my I'll line up the edge of my block with the paper, and that way I sort of know that it should be fairly straight. Okay. So now I'm going to ink it up, and I always check to make sure that it looks fully inked. Okay, you don't want to press so hard that you have ink all around the edges. Okay, and I'm going to put it in the same place right here, and I am eyeballing it to make sure that my block looks straight. And trusting that, yep, that worked out well. It looks very straight. All right. Okay, so I'm going to mount this on the white mat. It just gets more things out of the way so that I don't have to search so hard for everything on my desk, because you know how it gets when you're crafting. There's so many things, you just lose things right in front of you. Okay. Okay, so I always line it up on the left, top, and bottom on the side at a 45-degree angle before I lay it down, and that helps me to get it fairly straight before the adhesive touches the paper. Okay, so that is the most of the pieces right there. Let's bring back these two card bases. Okay, so this, you might be thinking it might be kind of tricky, but it's not. Okay, so there's my two score lines on this side of the paper. I'm going to get my bone folder, and we will fold the cardstock back into a Z fold. Okay, this way. All right, so then it's like this. Okay, Z fold. All right, I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other piece. Oops, you can see that's not quite flat, so I'm just trying to flatten that as best I can. Okay, so again, like same thing. All right. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put this image on the front here. And you can decorate the front any way you like, just like, you know, any other card. I was originally trying to follow another card made by another demonstrator, and then I realized, you know what, the DSP, this piece of DSP does all the work by itself, so I'm not even going to add, all I did was add the sentiment, right? I just used the DSP to do most of the work. Okay, so the skinnier piece goes in first, and then the 3/4 inch piece goes over there. Okay, so let's put those on. And the glue gives you a little bit of time to move things around if you lay it down a little bit crooked. I think that looks okay. Turned out all right. Looks good. So there's the front of the card. And I like that it folds flat, like when you're working with it, and then also when you open it up and you can write on the back, right? Some cards you kind of have to do all your writing before you glue in that final piece. because it isn't easy to write when the card is fully made, but this one you can. So, okay. I think what I need to do next is to stamp my pop-up piece, and I'm going to bring out the Relax and Enjoy Your Day, and we'll put some birds on that. So let's get some scrap paper, stamp some birds on that. I'm going to use this one. Oh, I almost did that upside down. This is right side up. Okay, so I think I'm going to stamp the birds a little bit lower this time. And there we go. And I'll get the other stamp for the sentiment. You can add a lot more to this. It's just that I don't have anything else in this particular stamp set that I think really goes here. So again, I'm lining up my words with the bottom of the block. Actually, I'm going to mount that a little bit higher. It's not quite center. There we go. Okay. All right. And let's make sure this is straight. I'm going to put this here. Tried to get my finger out of the way before put that down. I think that looks good. Okay, let's mount this, and then I'll show you how to attach the pop-up. Okay, I am missing that little piece of, oh, there it is. So this is going to be mounted like this, okay? And when I made the first card, I came to the realization that when the card is shut, because it opens up a little bit just naturally, it doesn't lie completely flat, the pop-up tends to show. So this time I think I'm going to glue this on a slight angle, and I'll show you what I mean, so that hopefully it doesn't show as much when the card is not being pulled open. If you see what I mean, I'll show you. Okay, so if I press it shut, this is pretty much hidden at the top, but if I just let it relax, it pops up and you can see that it's there. So I'm going to aim to get this piece to be a little lower so it doesn't pop up quite so much until you pull it. Okay, so now that that's done, what you need to do is fold a corner right here, okay? And just do it like this. I prefer folding on a score line, but I wasn't completely successful getting it like a nice 90-degree or 45-degree angle, depending on how you look at it. So anyways, that's fine. You just fold it over. I use my bone folder to burnish that fold well. Okay, so where it's going to go, okay, so we have this card with the folds on the left. You're going to take your other piece and put the folds on the right, and it is basically going to get glued down right on top of this little flap. Okay, this side will get glued to here. Now, when I made the first card, I made sure that everything was lined up, which meant that I had this little piece sticking up when it's relaxed. I think what I'm going to do this time, I am going to angle it down just a little bit. I don't know if you can see. You can see by the white that it is angled down, and hopefully that will prevent it from popping up when it's relaxed. So let's give that a try. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue here, and we'll have to hold it down for a couple of seconds to make sure it sticks. Okay, and I'm making sure that the edge of this fold covers my little triangle there. Okay. Shali says I might need a tad more. Do you mean like to angle it more? I'm not sure. I haven't tried it. I think I tried it. I did make another sample and I did try angling it, but I changed the fold of the that little corner as well. So I don't know if it was hard to visualize exactly how it was going to turn out. But here, I've moved it down very slightly some more, so you can see that this is not lying lined up straight with the top anymore. Okay, so hopefully that works out. Okay, so now this is where the magic is, right? This is where we assemble. So I'm going to glue this onto the top here, and we're going to line up all the edges right here. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue on top here, or you can use tear and tape, that also works. I just find that the glue gives me a few seconds to move it around slightly and adjust it if I didn't lie it down properly. Sorry, line up the corners properly. So just grabbing the corners, and then I'm going to press it down together, press it together. Okay. Just making sure that everything looks lined up. There we go. Okay. Then we're going to turn it over and do the same thing pretty much. We're going to glue this to the top of here. Okay, so I'm going to put glue there as well. Alright, so I'm going to just line it up. See, I'm not touching the insides yet. I'm just kind of lining this up before I press it on together. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now that it's lined up, I'm going to press it down. All right. So, yeah, it didn't, okay, so again, when you press it down flat, you can't see the pop-up, but when it relaxes, it doesn't show as much. So this original card here, it shows up a lot more. So now it doesn't show up quite so much. Okay, see you later, Tara. Have a great day. So there's your pop-up. It's really simple, right? So all I do now is I add something to the back. So all I did for the back is I stamped some of the grass from the On the Horizon stamp set in wild wheat. So let's get some scrap out and grab this edge here. This is my back mat. I'm just going to remove my other stamp and we'll put this one on. I'm going to put it on an angle because this one's a little bit bigger than my standard block, and my bigger blocks are on the table behind me. So let's just put it on this one. I'm going to ink that up. And there we go. And that's all there is to it. I mean, you can stamp something else here if you want, but I feel like we've got 2 sentiments already on the front of the card. Really, all you need to leave room for now is just for you to write whatever you want for this card on the back. And you can add 2 strips of DSP here, just like I did. Or you can just leave it empty, and that's fine too. But I think what I'll do is I'll probably look for a couple strips of leftover DSP because I've got so much left over here, just to add some color. And it doesn't even have to be part of the original DSP in the front, because this one I got lucky and I had some leftover strips that actually were from another sheet of the same pattern. But you know, it's the back. You can use whatever you like. Something else pretty, like I'm sure there's some here that has pretty peacock that is like this one. I think I could probably add some of this on the back and that would be just fine. So, but that is basically it. I'm going to glue this down and we will be done pretty much. Shalee, have you been out to shovel already? Let's just make sure I put this the right way up. Okay, there's still... Oh, you said you have the deck to do. Yeah. You know what? I just remembered we should probably check that the vents are not covered in snow either. And that requires getting into the backyard and around to the other side of the house, so... Okay. So now I can just cut like an extra few pieces of this and put it on the back. Let's see if I have any, if I got lucky and have a few pieces of other leftover. Here's some leftover of this one, skinnier piece. But you can make other cards out of this style, obviously. It's a fun fold, so I did play with this. I'll show you in a second what else I made. If I can just take a second to find something to go here. You know what? I think this would be more neutral. This would probably be more neutral. But I'm not sure it'll fit. Okay, you know what? I will save that for off-camera time because I want to show you the other cards I made. But that is pretty much the card. Pretty easy, right? You think it looks complicated, but it's not. Let me show you the other cards I made. So I went to, let me see, Seaside Bay, and I pulled out some DSP from that, and I made this one. And if you see, I did something different with this. I also embossed with the So Swirly folder, the DSP and the paper on the front. So that was fun. Different effect. So I have my little pearl and everything. I had not played with this in a while, so it's kind of nice to bring that back. So I haven't done the back for this, but you get the idea that you can, you know, use whatever's in your stash, right? That I'm a big, what's the word? I forget what the word is. Words escape me when I'm on live. Proponent, is that the right word? Of using, you know, what you have to make new stuff and combining new and old. So this is new paper with an old stamp set. Let me show you the other one I made. So I also made an alternative to the double gatefold, and it looks like this. So here's the card when it's folded, and here it is when you open it. Wishing you a happy day. So that's also another idea for you guys. All right, so those are the cards today. I don't even have enough room to display everything in this. I hope I can get this portrait mode fixed for next time, but I don't know if Facebook is going to let me stream in landscape again. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so have fun with that. Hope you guys have time to do a little bit of crafting today, since it's a terrible day to go outside here in Ottawa. Have fun with crafting and make something and show me in the comments. I would love to see your creations. So have a great day. I will see you guys next week. Bye.